Okay, everybody, let's get settled. So, just check in with yourself. That's who we're working with right now, is just ourselves. And as we settle in, coming to this place of stillness and silence. It's interesting, on a Sunday, I always feel the whole energy of the world just kind of goes still. It was palpable actually during the pandemic when everyone was locked down. Everything was so still. There was not much movement around, traffic, people. So can you find this kind of stillness within yourself? Can you be walking around and be still? Can you move from a place of stillness rather than from a place of reactivity? From a place of being present? So as we settle, just feel the feet in the floor, if you are sitting that way. Sits bones in the chair. Feel the weight of the sits bones. The shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen. Now imagine from the top of your head, you're relaxing, releasing all the scalp, all the muscles, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, back of the head, back of the neck, the jaw, the temples, and then your shoulders, throat, chest, and your belly, and your limbs. Take a nice deep breath as we go inwards. And then just check if there are any sounds in your environment. Just allow those sounds to be there, trying not to follow them with the mind. And then notice the thoughts that are arising. What's coming up for you this evening? Fatigue, boredom, excitement, sadness, grief, anger. Just label the thoughts. Are you thinking about the future? Are you planning? Are you ruminating? And any of those things don't matter. It's not relevant, really. It's just that you recognize them, and then you can decide what you want to do. Decide whether those kinds of thoughts serve you. Perhaps they do in some way. Maybe you can learn from them. You can release those thoughts with a level of objectivity, without criticism. And then we can just put ourselves on the bank of our river. Just watch it flow on by and just recognize the quality of the water. What's it looking like this evening? And yes, it's probably different to yesterday. And then just as we're sitting on the bank, you can recognize that you're free from that water, you're free from that river. So again, bringing to mind to all the people of our life, our loved ones, those folks who are so dear to us, who matter very much. We feel devastated if we hurt them. Whereas the ones we don't like so much, we don't really care. And the ones we don't even know, strangers, we definitely don't care, probably don't even notice. But regardless of how we feel about these relationships, how these relationships are in our life, they could actually change. So no point clinging desperately to one or the other, because they could shift at a moment's notice. So I think we'll do this meditation for all these beings, for ourselves, all these beings who are equal to us in their wish to be happy and their wish to be free from suffering. So there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind so we can change it easily by creating positivity instead. And we think of the power of regret, and we sincerely regret from the depths of our heart anything that's been done to harm any other living being in this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. We know from our present suffering, we don't want that. So logically, it does make sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here again, power of alliance. And we start with refuge. There's two sections, refuge and developing compassion. So we rely upon, we turn to this Buddha, Vajrasattva. So this is, again, our beautiful tanka. So Vajrasattva, we're not thinking this is like some kind of higher power that we need to sort of have come and forgive us, that's going to change our life for us. We're doing the work ourselves. So we're just requesting Vajrasattva for his methods. So now if you wish, you can imagine that this is also the mind of your teacher, if you have one, manifesting in this form for your benefit. So you can, again, he's on the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So here we come to our section on developing compassion, also part of reliance, because we are relying upon other beings. So the beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, and we develop a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think of someone you've harmed recently, maybe in the past, and then think of someone who has harmed you. And the harm they've caused you is going to manifest as suffering for them in the future. Never sure what time or how or when or even which life. So have compassion for them for that. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is the purification of our speech. And again, Vajrasattva sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra very happily, and it forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And it overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and the inappropriate speech and the kind of careless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutta Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawa siddhi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech, including yourself. So just particularly with our loved ones, when our guard is a little bit more let down, think very carefully before we open our mouths, because something that comes out that we think might not be hurtful, but it might be. So just be careful. Speech matters. So next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on the switch, the light in the room is dispelling the darkness instantly. So it's the same here. The moment the light from your heart, light from Vajrasattva's heart, hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and anger and violence, depression, bitterness, resentment, jealousy, grudges, all instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasapta Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapta Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajrama me mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tiru me boa sitokaya me boa sipokaya me boa. Anurakta me boa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita. Tita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawatata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, all of our delusions, and these are the source of our own suffering. So it's not necessarily the problem that is the problem. It's how we respond to it. So our delusions are the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech and our mind. So imagine they're completely purified, they're gone, and now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And so next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. So it's just like you're removing, once you've taken the garlic out of a jar, you need to sort of wash it out extra, a little bit extra soap to get out the smell that's left behind. But here it's more energetic. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. Vajrasapa samaya manupalaya vajrasapa dina patita dita meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hompe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. even the subtlest obscurations to your omniscience have been removed, your enlightenment. So now we come to the power of resolve, and the fourth and final and quite crucial step in this process is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this determination, we're going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. And this aspiration to not harm, to refrain from harming, is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So think of something that you've been working on, that you want to keep working on. Maybe there's something new that you've discovered about yourself that you might like to sort of refocus on somehow, shine a light on. Give yourself a reasonable timeline. You might want to work on it once for 30 seconds, and that's enough. Or you might want to imagine, I'm going to refrain from doing X, Y, and Z or Z, wherever you are, while I'm asleep overnight, because you'll be asleep. This determination to refrain from harming, to kind of disrupt our old habits, is what gives us the strength to change. We have to decide nothing's going to happen until we do. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you can think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate a little bit on emptiness to sort of seal the practice. So he would say, like, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there. And we can think of all phenomena as being empty, not existing from their own side. We can also think that the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created by doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So we're on the hour, but if you do have in your practice some teachers who you are relying on, even if it's somebody that you don't know, maybe haven't met directly, like maybe for some of you haven't met His Holiness. So I think wish for His Holiness to have a long life, and then maybe Lama Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation to return quickly. And any other teachers you may have, just dedicate this practice to their long lives. Okay, everybody, lots of love. And thank you all so much for coming, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening. Okay, thank you very much.